Hey.
Oh, it's good. I love it. Oh.
Look at us. We're all different in the same way. We solved it. This room is so diverse. From Democrat to liberal Democrat. Can I sing another verse?
Guys,
Oh my
you
God,
gotta stop. You gotta stop. You haven't solved it. This song is way too white.
When you're white, you go back to Europe where you came from. This is not your land. No, it's not. You've been here 2-3 generations compared to us. We've been here a million fucking years. So get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Hey everybody, Roger here. First off, I want to apologize for the sound quality. I'm recording from my cell phone, I always have, but I have been receiving a lot of information from people saying that the sound is kind of tinny and low volume. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust I'm going to normalize the volume in my editor before I upload it instead of just straight uploading it from my phone, and hopefully it'll make a difference. Until then, I have listened to you guys. And I've ordered a cell phone mic, so I don't know when that'll be in, but hopefully up until then you guys can put up with the tinny sound. Hopefully I make it better with my After Effects and go from there. Anyways, I wanted to make this video today. Well, first off, and again, thanks for the suggestions to everybody who informed me about that. I appreciate it. So I've never done this before, but I'm going to go ahead and I wanted to take the Nick Sandmann interview on USA Today and actually just kind of comment through it as it goes and you know, just basically do that. So without further ado, here we go.
Do you feel from this experience that you owe anybody an apology? Do you see your own fault in any way?
As far as standing there, I had every right to do so. My position is that I was not disrespectful to Mr. Phillips. I respect him. I'd like to talk to him. I mean, in hindsight, I wish we could have walked away and avoided the whole thing. But I can't say that I'm sorry for listening to him and standing there.
This morning, 16-year-old Nick Sandmann
Okay, so first off, that was the oddest question to ask a kid, and I've been hearing from a lot of people that they looked at this kid and they're like, he doesn't seem genuine, he seems like he doesn't want to be there, or he just has this blank stare in his face. And I'm like, well, judge all you will. You know, when I was younger, you know, my mom would look at me and wonder like what I was thinking, because sometimes I guess I have a face where you can't really tell what I'm thinking half the time. A lot of people have always said that, my mom especially. And there was one time where she was just like, I can't tell what you're thinking, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to tell you in my own way. But you can't really tell a lot with somebody's facial expressions. The other thing that the kid is probably thinking, in my opinion, is in his head probably thinking, why am I even here answering a dumbass question like this? For just standing. And some people, you know, I've gotten to talk to a couple people about this in person. And some people have only seen the limited footage where, you know, the one that was going around mainstream media, and they're judging him by that. And I'm like, okay, well, you really have to watch all of it to really understand what went down the kid, you know, I'm not even going to go through the whole story of what happened. If anybody wants to find that footage, they know where to find it. And they can watch my compilation video, which, again, that compilation video is old now. You know, watch somebody else's with the latest and more informative, you know, more detailed footage to get that picture. But I'm not going to go into that. I just want to say, you know, the majority of people still have only seen that one thing, and then now they're protesting at the school. I guess they're giving a vigil or something like that, and they're preaching peace and whatnot. But yet, what keeps going through my mind is that other person that was with Nathan Phillips, who had basically told one of the students to go back to Europe, where he is originally from, because this isn't his land. I'm sorry. Your message goes completely away when you start saying go back to your country when you're trying to preach unity. How does that math add up? I mean, I don't think Common Core is doing anybody good, but Common Core wasn't taught in either of those guys' time when they went to school, if they went to school. So anyways, let's continue with this.
Standing by his actions in this moment gone viral. The junior at Kentucky's Covington Catholic High School, now the face of this Lincoln Memorial confrontation with Native American elder Nathan Phillips.
And what's it been like to...
One thing I'm going to do, and this is how I watch all my YouTube videos, and I hope you guys don't mind, but I usually go into the gear icon, the gear settings, and I bump up the speed by usually 1.25 or 1.5 if the people are talking really slow. And that's what helps me watch a lot of, or listen to a lot of content throughout the day and become informed. And so I'm going to do that right now. So bear with me, guys. I'll only do 1.25 speed. I won't do 1.5 because it'll sound like Smurfs, or Chipmunks. And, anyways, I'll go ahead and restart this. Or from that
Lincoln Memorial confrontation with Native American elder Nathan Phillips.
And what's it been like to be at the center of the storm?
Well, it's weird to see your face on television. I've been reading a lot, and, you know, I've also been getting a lot of messages from people both support and a lot of hateful things.
Sandmann and dozens of his classmates had just finished attending an anti-abortion March for Life rally when they converged with 5 Hebrew Israelites, a radical movement that is growing more militant, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
They started shouting a bunch of, you know...
Okay, and Southern Poverty, SPOD, does not matter in my book, but yeah, you know, there are a lot of groups out there that are pretty radical, and I'm glad that they're on a list to let people know. But I think the average person, if you're not living under a rock, you'll know that these black Israelites are pretty crazy when you approach them, when you debate them, when you talk to them, and all they do is just cause conflict. They'll say everybody throughout history is black. There's a black agenda, and black is the only way. And I'm like, all right, dude, no, this world has a lot of color and it has a lot of variety. It's not just your way or the highway. Not that I'm not saying that that's their ideology, but I mean, I'll go ahead and just say this right now, just so I can piss some of them off. I'm being ignorant on it on purpose. So yeah, I understand it, but I'm going to be ignorant on this video about it, just to piss off the guy from 2 videos back who is trying to debate me on stupid things and twisting my own words. It's not fun, is it? Anyways, let's go on.
Homophobic, racist, derogatory comments at us.
What kinds of things did you hear them say?
I heard them call us incest kids, bigots, racists. They called us
a bunch of incest babies, a bunch of child molesting.
Did you feel threatened at all?
I definitely...
Who wouldn't? What kind of a question is that? Again, here's the thing. For her to ask if they feel threatened, for people calling them those kind of names, insulting names, yelling at them, adults no less, and yet automatically just already think it's the end of the world because somebody just stands in front of Nathan Phillips. I mean, which one seems worse? Why is the public getting outraged at somebody standing in front of them, but they're not getting outraged at adults verbally attacking and insulting kids? I think this one has a little bit more weight to it than the Nathan Phillips issue. Nobody's asking Nathan Phillips if he felt offended by it. They're just already taking his word for it that it was the worst thing anybody could ever do. I'm sorry, but I mean, this just says it right here. It's not. These kids had it worse during that day, and they handled it with more class. When you watch all the footage, if you don't watch just the shitty parts that they're showing on TV that they want you to see, and you actually do your research, and do it for these kids. Do it for just the sake of doing something for once in your life where you actually do a little bit of research and find out Okay, I'm going to watch it. And if after that, you still, after watching all of that information, all that footage, all those videos, and you still come to the conclusion that you think the kids are still in the fault, at least you did your homework. I'll give you that. But at this point, after I've watched everything, I think the kids were in the right. They were victims. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. And they were surrounded by people who had one group who had alternate agenda, which was Nathan Phillips and his entourage, and another group that was just there insulting, and they just happen to be there by happenstance and are able to make a name for themselves in this as well, without probably even planning for it. They just, whatever. These kids were just waiting for the bus. That's it, plain and simple. So anyways, continuing on.
Felt threatened.
There were more of you than them, but you felt like they were stronger?
They were a group of adults, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen next.
It's unclear from the videos who actually started the confrontation.
No, it's pretty clear. Okay, when you start watching the fact that the kids started congregating at the monument area because they were told to by their superiors. They were told to, they were following orders by their superiors, by their school officials, the people who were taking care of them. Go wait by the monument because that's where you have to be to wait for the bus. These other people, the Black Israelites in particular here, they were the ones that were intimidating and yelling and saying insensitive things to kids that kids shouldn't be hearing. These teenagers shouldn't be hearing. So, no, she's wrong on that.
Each side believes it was the first to be taunted. Sandmann says his chaperone gave students permission to shout.
Okay, each side believes that each one was the first one to be taunted. Okay, so taunted in the fact that kids aren't cussing. They're not saying anything derogatory. They may be saying some questionable things. But they were mostly doing cheers, like school cheers, because they got permission from their whoever was with them, the person that was responsible for them, and they did that so they could drown out. They were like, hey, can we do something to drown out these people over here who are calling us faggots, who are calling us, I don't know, shitty babies, and that we're trash and everything, and that we're going to be selling our black friends' body parts in the black market. Can we please do something to drown that out? And if I was there, the person taking care of them, I'd be like, yeah, might as well. We were told to wait here for the bus, and this is where we need to wait, so we can't change the rules just because of this scenario here. Go ahead and do whatever you want to in regards to at least just cheering. If it's something that's a school spirit type thing, that's what it was, school spirit. Do it. There's nothing wrong with that. So now apparently school spirit, when you're being yelled at, when you're being called all these horrible names, when you're trying to defend gay rights, it's considered offensive. And it's considered a mockery. It makes absolutely no sense. It's continuing on.
School chants, an attempt, he says, to drown out the Hebrew Israelites.
Do you think it was a good idea to start chanting back at the protesters?
In hindsight, I wish we had just found another spot to wait for our buses, but at the time, being positive seemed better than letting them slander us with all of these things. So I wish we could have walked away.
Did anyone shout any insults back or any racial slurs back at the group?
We're a Catholic school, and it's not tolerated. They don't tolerate racism, and none of my classmates are racist people.
Did anyone say, build the wall?
I never heard anyone say build the wall, and I don't think I've seen it in any videos.
Not that it would be a bad thing. I think we're all for the wall. And again, all these questions asked this kid, trying to see if they instigated this. I'm sorry, but they were told to congregate there. The Black Israelites happened to just be there as well at the same time. Supposedly, according to CNN, preaching about the Bible and Jesus. Yeah, whatever. And as you can tell, as you start watching all this footage, it's totally not true.
Review of the videos, NBC News could not hear anyone shouting that hot button phrase. But Nathan...
No, see, there you go. They finally not fake news in this scenario here. And I can verify that because I've watched all the footage. Or all the footage that's out there anyways.
Phillips claims he heard the teen shout, build the wall.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Okay. That part is funny because Nathan Phillips said, oh yeah, I heard that. Dude, you were banging the drums the whole entire time. As you were walking towards them, you were banging the drums. And you were way far from them that you couldn't really hear anything. I mean, you need hearing aids. And I'm sorry, I know you're old and stuff, but you lied about your military service as well. You've been called out for it. You're also a known activist, a known opportunist and instigator of these type of scenarios. You claim a lot of stuff. You claimed racism a couple of years ago in 2015, and it makes absolutely no sense that people would still believe you now. You know, for a while I was believing you at this point, up until I started doing my research and watching the footage. There's absolutely no way you could have heard them say that. It's all, what you're saying again is hearsay. You've profited off of this the whole time. And then afterwards, your daughter is sharing a link to say, oh no, donate to him because my dad was the one that was offended. And don't donate to the charity, donate to my dad's PayPal directly. Opportunistic much? Anyways.
Phillips was with a group of Native Americans coming from an Indigenous Peoples March when he can be seen walking between the students and the protesters.
I intervened, and things just escalated from there.
Phillips says
he intervened. What do a lot of, when somebody's having a civil dispute, do you intervene when somebody's having a civil dispute and not expect there to be a conflict? Do you just intervene out of nowhere, or do you intervene when there's an opportune time and everybody has cameras? I'm pretty sure that's what, you know this, Phillips, you know this. This is something that you do all the time. You've done it a couple times already. So, yeah.
Trying to diffuse the tense situation. Sandmann says he was confused about Phillips's motives and why he was there.
At first we were unsure of whether he was trying to join in and drum to our chants or what he was doing.
Did you feel like he was trying to get somewhere else, to go toward the Lincoln Memorial?
I'm not sure where he wanted to go, and if he wanted to walk past me, I would have let him go.
In that moment.
There you go. There you go. And he didn't. He stopped there. All footage, all angles show. Phillips kept circling a little bit, or a couple steps anyways, here and there, and then he just stopped in front of him. So.
He's looking at you, you're looking at him. What's going through your mind?
I wanted the situation to die down, and I just wish he would have walked away, but I knew as long as I kept my composure and didn't do anything that he might perceive as aggressive or elevation of the conflict, that it would hopefully die.
Why didn't you walk away?
Well, now I wish I would have walked away. I didn't want to be disrespectful to Mr. Phillips and walk away if he was trying to talk to me, but I was surrounded by a lot of people I didn't know that had their phones out, had cameras, and I didn't want to bump into anyone or seem like I was trying to do something.
The center of the fire.
That's the big piece here as well. There's a lot of, no matter what this kid would have done, because he had the MAGA hat on, no matter what this kid would have done, the headlines would have preached something different and there would still be outrage. If he would have walked away and he was standing there looking at him, if he would have walked away, it would have been, the headlines would have read, white kids with MAGA hats, white teenagers with MAGA hats disrespectfully move away from Native American elder as he's chanting to them. I mean, do you see this? They can't win. Just like Trump can't win with whatever he does. Just like nothing gets reported about what he does. You know, he can't win. You know, just, what is it, today or yesterday, you know, he helped, he passed something to help medication costs go down on some certain pills or something, I don't know. And I don't take pills, I don't believe them until I actually need them. But that's a big help to America. Does the average American know this? Probably not, because it's not posted in the news. The only thing that's posted in the news is more shit that gets you angry like this, thinking that people that support Trump are bad guys to make you get the pills. It makes absolutely no sense. You know, just do a little homework.
Storm, what critics characterize as a smirk on Sandmann's face, some saying it was an attempt to stare down Phillips.
What do you think that looks like?
I see it as a smile saying that this is the best you're going to get out of me. You won't get any further reaction of aggression.
Good answer. Great answer. And it probably was the truth, you know. It's like he probably saw that things were going crazy at that point. The guy stops and he's like, okay, this is turning out weird, but I'm not going to be... Look, he could have gave like he could have gave a face with no smile. Then they would have said, oh, he's just standing there staring and disrespecting the elder and giving him a mean look the whole time. He can't smile, he can't frown, he can't stay neutral, he can't turn away. This kid is SOL throughout this whole thing. No decision he would have made. Tell me what decision he would have made. All the people who were against him, tell me what decision he could have made that would have de-escalated the situation and prevented you from thinking that he was doing anything intentionally. There's nothing. I'm pretty sure there's nothing. If he would have fallen down, the headlines would have said MAGA person acts dramatic and makes it seem like the drummer punched him in the face or something, and so he acted like he fell down. You know, and nothing he could have done. I'll wait. I expect a lot of answers down below. Thanks.
And I'm willing to stand here as long as you want to hit this drum in my face.
What some people see is a young kid with a smirk on his face.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say for people?
Who cares? Everybody has smiles on their face. Okay, what I see also as well was Nathan Phillips having a mean look on his face while he was banging the drum, getting into somebody's territory. Reverberation. That's still a connection to another person, and it's probably a mild form of assault, or at least intimidation, not assault. Intimidation. It's a mild form of intimidation. So now it's okay for a senior to attack a young person in this manner to try to instigate some sort of action out of them. I think that's the worst scenario. Again, I am twisting the words just like everybody's twisting the words against this kid as well, just for looking and smiling and staring. And I mean, again, like I said before, when I was sung "Happy Birthday" by strangers in front of my face, I smiled, I laughed, I didn't know what to do. What was I supposed to do? You're in an uncomfortable situation there. He has a lot of people around him. You know, when you have a lot of distraction around you too, and cameras pointed at you, you're like, so much going on in my mind, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to stand here and smile, I don't know. You know, that's what could happen, and that's probably what was happening with this kid, you know?
See that and are making a judgment about who you are.
Well, people have judged me based off one expression, which I wasn't smirking, but people have assumed that's what I have. And they've gone from there to titling me and labeling me as a racist person, someone that's disrespectful to adults, which they've had to assume so many things to get there without consulting anyone that can give them the opposite story.
Exactly. So much assumption going on here. Just like, what was it a couple days ago? There was a big assumption that the BuzzFeed articles, who are these guys? The Krasenstein brothers? Oh, you idiots. Do you guys not know the Krasensteins actually... They've already been, exposed as saying that, oh, you know, we just make these stories with Trump, against Trump, just because we know we can profit off of it. So these Krasenstein brothers, you know, you always see them at the top of Trump's feeds and stuff. They got the blue check marks as well. And they were like, oh, Trump, well, you should be scared. Your blood should be boiling or shivering because the new information from the case is about to take you down. And then you realize that BuzzFeed, again, you know, everybody believes BuzzFeed. Everybody just wants to see Trump go down. Joy Behar could not have said it better on The View the other day when asked the question by Whoopi Goldberg. Why is it that whenever we're wrong, we rush to judgment and then we have to, you know, we realize that we're wrong? Why do we do that? And then Joy Behar says, well, it's because we want to do everything we can, or something to this extent. We want to basically, we're very hopeful and we want to see everything possible that's out there to help Trump go down. We want to take him down. Okay, you can have an agenda. You can have an agenda. You can have a desire. But agendas and desires are nothing without proof and evidence. Not accusation, not guilt by association, not assumption. You have to have evidence of all this stuff. You say everything is circumstantial. That's just it, circumstantial. Nothing has been tied to Trump. It's been 2 years already, and nothing has happened with this case. Normally, with a case like this, look at Hillary's took what? I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's crazy that everybody is going off with the want and they feed off of the desire. It's what they want. It's like, look, with Hillary Clinton, I don't like the lady. I don't like the bitch. I hate her. I think she's bad for America. I think she's bad for the world. She definitely would have gotten us into World War III. I mean, look at what she did to Libya. I mean, for as much as I don't like her, and for all the evidence that's out there with the corruption, the laptops, the cell phones, the servers, all that stuff, I still want to see a case happen. That's the difference between people that act on emotion of things and people that want to see the evidence. They have this assumption, but they're not going to go crazy about it. They want to see the evidence pop up. They want to see conclusive information pop up. So that way they can justly, rightfully and justly so, either show that these people are innocent or guilty. And yeah, you know, these people aren't giving the benefit of the doubt here. I do with people I don't like either. I can hate them, but I don't have to be acting like Joy Behar and just be all, you know, excited when something like this happens, you know, or something minor comes out with an unnamed source, Mr. Krasenstein, and 2 unnamed sources in the BuzzFeed article. Yeah, your tweet didn't age well. But, you know, to have that hope and assumption, everybody rides off of it. Do you guys not know that the MSM plays you for fools? They know you buy into it. They know you're going to click on their pages. Do you know they make money off of this shit? Advertising goes out for them. Everything. You fall for it. You guys are like blind little chimps. It makes absolutely... It's sad. It's sad. You know, whatever.
To that video and thought about how it felt from the other's perspective. In other words, there were a lot of you, a handful of the others.
Quantity doesn't matter. Quantity doesn't matter. Just because there's a lot of these kids. Look, so her logic here is this. There's a lot of people across the street over here, and because of that amount of people, there's only 2 people over here, but these 2 people are probably the ones that are the robbers, and they're the ones that are going to be attacking these people over here, are probably just consumers and minding their own business. These guys want to interfere. 2 against 200. Quantity doesn't matter, lady. This is a stupid argument. This one is dumb here. You know, it's the character of the people, the intent of the people, and the intent that we saw from both of these groups. Not the students, but the Black Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, and the native people who were chanting and whatnot, to provoke. They were there to provoke. They were there to intimidate, pick on kids. I mean, that's all I see at this point in time. I can't see it any other way because I've already seen all the footage, and that's my conclusion. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. The kids were what were the kids supposed to do? Disobey instructions from their superiors and leave the premises when they were waiting for a bus? They're from Kentucky. They're in Washington, D.C. Why would they do that? They could be left behind, or somebody could get in trouble, somebody could get lost, somebody could kidnap the kids. I mean, has anybody even thought of this other stuff? No, they're too busy getting offended by somebody staring, somebody looking, somebody trying not to cause a confrontation. They did their best to alleviate the scenario and try to not make a conflict where the adults kept instigating a conflict. Does nobody see this? Or do not a lot of people see this? I know some people do see it, but not a lot of them apparently. And they still are double and tripling down on this shit. So yeah.
Do you think they might have felt threatened by a bunch of young men kind of beating their chests?
I mean, I certainly hope they didn't feel threatened by us.
Why would they feel threatened when they were... Okay, stupid question again. Why would they even feel threatened when they were the ones approaching the students while they were doing that? They were getting themselves into a scenario. Again, personal accountability. Personal accountability. And these adults, these are adults. They are adults that know better. Personal accountability.
I would just say that the fact remains that they initiated their comments with us, and
yep.
I mean, they provoked us into a peaceful response of school spirit.
Sandmann says he didn't see other students performing what appears to be a tomahawk chop.
There's something...
I wonder if any of these people saw the Chiefs game this last weekend, or an Atlanta Braves game. I mean, or any college game, or have looked. I'm pretty sure some of these people have looked at their school's video that Snopes is kind of devilishly commenting on, saying it's true. That, yeah, this video came from the high school, but stupid people who want to dive into the shit. So the video that I'm talking about, it's a video from like 10 years ago. It's not even the students, but it's of the school. It's a montage of all the school's cheers, and they have whiteout day, where they all paint in white paint and they're all dressed in whiteout, so they make everything bright. And then they have blackout day, where they all dress up in black and paint themselves in black. It's not blackface. Huge difference between that and Jimmy Kimmel. If it's guilt by association, I've seen some of you, like on Twitter, that have commented and pointed out, you get pissed off that you see these kids with blackface, but yet I confront you and say, hey, you're friends with Jimmy Kimmel, guilt by association, hashtag, you know. You're a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. It makes absolutely no sense. So, and then there's all these other cheers. Oh, plus they had this kilts on in one of them, so are they now offending Scottish people? I don't know. Are they offending warriors from like Europe? I don't know. I mean, everything right now seems to be racist. Everything is racist. That song, that everything is racist to people who are just, insecure about themselves, who are insecure about just everything in general, and just want to police the world and not give a shit about how it hurts that person. That's not their intent. Like that black Israelite that was commenting on 2 videos back, debating with me about certain things. He kept twisting my words, and I'm like, dude, you can't play that game with me. I know your fucking logic. It's fucking like, you know, logic. You have an IQ of probably 75 or 80, and you think I'm gonna fall for this shit. I'll play your game. I'll play your game. It's fun for me. I love this kind of this thrills me. So I mean, have at it. Have at it as much as you want. Truth of the day, overall, is that you can't put words into people's mouth. You can't put actions of other people and assume them. You need to be seeing the overall picture here. Overall, this school is known for cheers. That's about it. They're known for whiteout days, blackout days. There's days that they dress in blue. And for all of your Snopes, you know, articles and stuff that do these, oh God, I fucking hate this word, fact checkers. God, I really hate that phrase, fact checkers. But for all of those, they're not really checking facts. Just like today, there was a shooting in Florida at a bank. 5 people dead, and possibly more now. I don't know. A couple of injured, I believe. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be... I haven't looked at the news on that after I first heard about it. I was too busy with some projects at work, but I heard about it on my headset. I wear a little headpiece at work when I'm working. And apparently, there's these... Heavy came out with their 5 fast facts, and I'm like, well, good on you for not fabricating a lot of stuff here. But your first 2, yeah, you know, what had happened, how many victims there were. The second fact was where the kid went to school at, where he was from, like Boston or something like that, or Tennessee, I can't remember. And then he moved to Florida. And then the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ones, they were just filler things. I mean, okay, good on you for trying to be first, I guess. I mean, I don't really care about somebody being first. I like the slow burn. I want to see if these journalists, or realistically opportunistic journalists who just want the story to get hits for the website. That's what it comes down to. These journalists are forced to try to get the story first so people can go to them first, and their website drives traffic and whatnot, and revenue comes in. I mean, that's what it's about. But they're not, a lot of them, they can't deliver the story fast enough, and I think Heavy.com saw 2 straight stupid ass stories in a row with the 2 alleged sources from the BuzzFeed article against Trump and trying to incriminate him for doing stupid shit. And then the second one with this scenario with these students, I think they're being careful, but those last 3 bullet points were just like general information. The officer says the scene here is crazy. Well, of course that's a fast fact. I mean, duh, I'm pretty sure the officers there would think it's crazy. The officers are still investigating the story is fact number 5. And I'm like, yeah, tell us something we don't know. And again, I guess the pressure is out. You know, that's their slogan. That's what people look for when a story hits like that. They want to. Usually, a lot of people go to Heavy.com and get that 5 facts thing, 5 fast facts. And the last 3 were just bullshit here. But I will give you praise because you did not try to fabricate shit in there. I will give you that. And for that, you are better better information gathering, I guess, than these last 2 big stories were. So for that, I give you some credit. So anyways, going on.
Aggressive about standing there.
Oh,
Stick beat, a tomahawk chop. There's something aggressive about standing there. Standing aggressive.
There's something aggressive about standing there. Do you understand the stupidity of that statement? Something aggressive about standing there. Well, our teachers told us to wait. Our supervisors told us to wait here. So standing is, if you want to see it as aggressive, I can't control what you feel or think.
You both stood your ground. And it was like a stare down. What do you think of that now when you think about that moment?
I would say Mr. Phillips had his right to come up to me. I had my right to stay there. Our school was slandered by the African Americans who would call us all sorts of things.
As for those red Make America Great Again hats that some students were wearing, Sandmann says he bought his that day from a street vendor in Washington.
Do you think if you weren't wearing that hat, this might not have happened, or it might have been different?
That's possible, but I would have to assume what Mr. Phillips was thinking, and I'd rather let him speak for why he came up to us.
The conflict has caught the president's attention. He tweeted that Sandmann and his classmates were treated unfairly and have become symbols of fake news. Sandmann says he's appreciative of the president's tweets, but all the attention has taken a toll.
What's this been like for you and for your family?
It's been terrible. People have threatened our lives.
Sandmann says he doesn't want to live his life in fear, and he now hopes to come out of this with a deeper understanding of others.
I have the utmost respect for Mr. Phillips. It's another person that freely used his First Amendment right.
Okay, no respect for this guy at all. After finding out Mr. Phillips' history, I was having a little bit of respect for him initially, but then as you start reading about his past and what he's done and the lies going through it, no respect. The other thing too, so there's this video that's circulating around, and it's a video of a young girl who is walking, and there's two girls in front, and there's a girl behind them holding a cell phone camera. I guess she was recording. And they're walking in like a park-like setting in Washington, D.C., apparently, allegedly, where this scenario happened here. And they claim that this video is evidence that these kids were not as innocent as everybody's making them out to be, because they were taunting the girls. And so this little 8-second video, as the girls are walking, it's recording them, and then you hear these guys, some people, again, allegedly these boys in the back yelling. You don't know what they're yelling, they're far away, and then you see the cell phone camera pan over to them, and it's all blurry, pixelated. You can't make out who these guys are, and then it turns back, and then the girl says like, I'm done dealing with this, or something like that. And I'm like, this is your evidence? Again, there's more concrete evidence all over the area that this thing happened, and this is just a hearsay video. Again, I want to know what happened before that. I'd like to see the footage if that was taken like while you guys were close to those guys. If not, again, it's all alleged information. You can't make out if those were the kids or not. I assume not. Maybe, and if it was, they were probably practicing school cheers. I don't know. We won't know. I can't be saying that that's true or not, or that her evidence is inadmissible, or if it is actual really them. You can't. You can look at it and say, well, this is inconclusive. It's 8 seconds. Everything is blurry. Everything's pixelated. You don't know if every crowd of boys sounds the same. How are you ever going to tell? Oh, because I said so. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm in. I'm Kathy Griffin. I'm in. I'm Ron Perlman. I'm in. It is what it is at this point on that.
And I want to thank him for his military service as well.
Ooh, that's going to be a line to hold. I want to thank him for his military service as well. Now, he claims that he was in Vietnam, or he says Vietnam, I forget what the 4-letter word he used after that, Vietnam era or something like that. Something like where, he was, because he was 17 at the time, or younger than 17 according to his age, and so he couldn't have legally served. I do believe he probably has like 3 or 4 years of service outside of that, like in the Marines or something. I understand, I believe, is what I've heard. Again, there's a lot of information that I've been gathering throughout the last couple of days that I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He might not have served in Vietnam. I think I've heard him say that he was a Vietnam something, but I don't doubt that he probably served. We haven't seen the pictures. I'd like to see the pictures. I'd like to see the records. Let's go with that, because right now we're looking at these kids at face value with everything. We're undercovering their school information. We're undercovering their videos of past events and stuff of not them, but like of the school itself and all the other students and their cheers that they used to have in the assembly, using it against them. We're uncovering where their parents work. Everybody's calling their parents' businesses and threatening them, threatening their businesses, their jobs, their lives. People are calling for their murders. People are calling for them, like Wheeler Walker Jr., to get kicked in the nuts so he can send them autographed albums. You fucking asshole. There's all these people that are asking for their information. I'd like to see Mr. Phillips' credentials. I'd like to see pictures of him in the military. I'd like to see the records, the official records. Let's get that story out in the open. And if he has, more power to him. But there's something about the news falsely reporting, and the Washington Times, or Washington something, I believe it's Washington Times, having to retract their claim that he actually served when he actually didn't. They must have found out something, and we'll go with that.
I'd certainly like to speak with him.
Well, as mentioned, we've interviewed Mr. Phillips a few times, but we invited him again now in light of this conversation, so I think we're going to hear from him tomorrow on Today. There was actually a really interesting moment at the school yesterday where protesters came, and there was a moment where a young kid who was wearing that red Make America Great Again hat, and another Native American said, maybe we should just sit down. These guys said, we should just sit down and talk about it.
They swapped phone numbers and they agreed to have a meeting. It's nice to see a little thawing in those tensions, because you saw that moment. And
it was also nice to hear from that 16-year-old.
That was awesome. I'll admit, I did not like the little vigil, whatever event that they had. I watched some of that footage, and there was a very nasally voiced lady on there. I'm pretty sure some people hate my voice as well. I sound like a whack job a lot of times. But that point where that person with the MAGA hat and the Native American who was there, them hugging it out and trying to see if they can, talk and whatnot, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. We can all live with each other. That Native American there didn't tell that man to go back to his original country because this wasn't his land. That person with the MAGA hat smiled at him. So smiling apparently isn't a crime. So the exchange was beneficial to both sides there. That's what should be happening. That's what should be happening. And this shouldn't be happening because we're causing chaos to people before, like what happened 3 days ago with this kid. We're causing chaos with the stories and stuff, or ruining people's lives. This should just happen organically. We're missing a lot of this appreciation for people in general, of all cultures and all backgrounds. Now again, I'm still of the belief cultures are very difficult to mix. They do clash. But our backgrounds, we can embrace and love each other for all of our backgrounds. And again, I can respect your culture. Just again, the term "don't tread on me," don't get in my space and try to come into my country and maybe change the laws and try to change rules here. We're slowly seeing that happen. I believe there was a case recently with this woman who was doing the vaginal surgeries. That's something you would normally see in the Middle East as being a common practice. A couple years back, a woman, they tricked these young girls, about 12, 13, or 11 years old, that they were going on a field trip, and no, they took them on a bus or car or something, took them to this doctor lady, and it had mutilated their vaginal area, their private parts. And I believe that the doctor ended up winning, and the practice was okay. I believe I don't know. It's ridiculous what is being slowly let in as far as like legalese into America. It's ridiculous. Different cultures can't mix. You can bring some of that culture over in the form of like entertainment, food. Practice your religion, but. Again, that part's a fine line as well. This was a Christian founded nation, and Christianity for the most part has some excellent roots in it that tend to lend itself to having a lot of people just in general. If you follow the Christian lifestyle or Christian religion, there's teachings in there that are well made that don't. Again. There's a big debate with everything past in the Bible and whatnot, but modern day Christianity, we don't tell people to sell their daughters or anything like that. Couple that in a Christian nation with the United States freedoms and liberties that are granted to us. Nobody is oppressed. No gay person is oppressed here. You might have some people who are assholes to you, but you know what? You have equal rights just like they do. I had my ass kicked all the time in high school, middle school and high school. And I guess I can remember I started getting my ass kicked around 3rd or 4th grade, all the way through high school. And there was one group of bullies who would call me names. I heard the word faggot every day. There was another group of bullies who would take me to a corner and start beating me up. There was another group of bullies who just would not, even in class, they would incessantly, non-stop, just make fun of me, even when the teachers were there. And I would go home, and I couldn't talk to anybody about it. I was alone at home, and I was alone at school. I had some friends. Yes, I had some really good friends, a handful of friends. And I could talk to them sometimes about some of these things. But for the most part, they were my battles. And even with all of that, I can't say I've forgiven everybody for all the things that have happened to me. I've had one time I mean, I guess I won't go into the shit, but I mean, I've had a lot of traumatic stuff happen to me as a kid, as a gay kid growing up, and I don't wish any of this on anybody, but I also don't want to. I also understand that I am an individual who has, even at that point, I had the same equal rights as everybody else. I could have spoken up. I could have told my parents. I could have told my teachers, which I did sometimes. I did once, and they laughed when they heard what had happened. So they weren't going to be helping me out. But we all have these equal rights. We don't need to be. I don't need to have special privileges granted to me. I don't need to have a store say, hey, I can't serve you because I don't believe in, serving gays or whatever. Okay, now if it was that argument, I'd be like, well, okay, I'll respect that, but I'm going to be putting some bad reviews on your store, and I'm going to let people know so they know not to come here. And that's how the business works. That's how the cycle works. They'll either survive and attract people like that, or they won't. But you know what? You as an individual, me as a gay man, I don't have to interfere with that. I don't. It's America. Let people have their own cliques if they want to in that respect. And we do it right now with different ideologies and whatnot. I mean, everybody is, as long as they're not being violent, as long as they're not invading your space, let people be. And they will let you be. They should let you be. It's when that interference comes in and you have an assault on you. We have our laws for that. We have laws for that people can go to courts and sue or whatever for rightful reasons, not for fucking trivial reasons because you're this Christian baker out of like the 100 or 80 to 100 within a 50-mile radius of you decided to choose this one because you knew it was a Christian baker. You had all these other bakers around you. You know who I'm talking about, the couple from Colorado, and you had all these other bakeries to go to, and you knew you had an opportunity here. You guys were being assholes. So anyways, don't take all that information. Again, that came out in just really quick, so I'll be making videos so you guys can understand what I mean by we all have equal rights and whatnot. And we'll get to that later. Let's go ahead and finish this out. Apologize for that little deviation there.
His face and that expression that he made for a lot of folks became a symbol of a lot of different things. It was good to hear from him for the first time since we had heard from Mr. Phillips.
Well, situations you actually have videos, so people.
They're now taking his side because they know the footage is. If they keep agreeing with Nathan Phillips at this point, they know that they're going to be losing a lot. Their reputation is on the line if they don't agree with him. So they're probably not too happy about this, but yeah.
Certainly free to make their own judgments about what they think happened there. By the way, it was an adult in that video. I thought it was a student, but it was an adult who was there at the protest yesterday.
That's it. So overall, I think this interview, the questions that were asked were, for the most part, geared towards trying to make the kid look like whatever action he would have done was not going to be a good enough answer. Did you feel like, you standing there was threatening? Do you feel like your group there was intimidating because you were a bigger group? All these questions have nothing to do with the scenario. The adults, whether it's one adult acting shitty, like we had 4 of them, actually 6 of them that I can count. 6 adults acting shitty. 2 of the natives, one of the natives banging the drum all over the place, and then falsely claiming that they were saying build a wall, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm for the wall as well. There's nothing racist about it either. It's a fiscal thing for me. And also an earnings thing. If you want to be in this country and I'm going to be paying higher taxes, I expect the higher taxes to be used for social services for Americans that need them, not for illegal aliens coming in and taking advantage of them. White, black, Mexican, whatever, I don't give a shit. I don't see the color. I see what's coming out of my pockets because I have bills to pay. I have obligations as well. And I want to make myself something better than what I am even currently. I'm not a great person, I don't have the best job. I have a great job, but I don't, there's always going to be a better me that I can find later on down the line. And that better me is not going to come if I keep getting strapped and, financially. It's going to be a lot harder. So we have to control the situation. This is another reason why the wall is important. They can be in their country. And again, some of these people, coming from like further down countries, they can go to the next country next to them and seek asylum that way. There's nothing wrong with the wall. So there was nothing wrong. I mean, I think Phillips' argument is really lame. And also the other second adult that was in Phillips' group. Again, I keep repeating this because it needs repeating because everybody's forgetting about this. The other native that told that kid, if this was really a drumbeat thing about unity and being together and negating conflict, trying to clear the air, as Nathan Phillips was saying, I went there to try to de-escalate the conflict. Did your friend go there to de-escalate when he told that white kid, go back to your country? This isn't your land. Go back to your fucking country, I should say. Something like that. I know he said the F word in there. Is that really unifying? I'd really like you to answer that, Mr. Phillips. I'd really actually like that guy to answer it. Because apparently you guys are trying to de-escalate and cease the conflict between the two sides, the black Israelites and the students. Yet you escalated it more by telling him he didn't belong in this country. A little bit of a hypocrite there. And then the Israelites. Then we come to the Israelites here. These assholes there, you know, saying the meanest things to, they called the kid, you know, the N-word. They harass the kids. They call them the meanest names in the book. They're trying to, you know, get a rise out of them. And the kids did a good job by diverting and saying, hey, you know, I don't want to hear this stuff being yelled at us anymore. We came here for a field trip for March for Life, and you know, we don't need to hear bad names being, you know, said to us. Let's do what we do best. Let's cheer. Let's do a school cheer and keep doing that. I don't know. And then you guys overreacting with all these videos that have come out recently about them dressing up, painting in black, painting in white. You're not making a big deal about when they were painting in blue, right? You're just saying it's racist. It's not. You guys have gotten to be so fucking insensitive that it's ridiculous. Yeah. So anyways, thoughts. What are your guys' opinion about this interview? Do you think it went well? Do you think he was too stiff? I mean, there's a lot of people saying that. I really don't care. I used to be pretty stiff as far as, like, you know, my facial expressions. Nobody would know how I was feeling. I had a, you know, people would give, my bosses used to give me, what do you call it? The reviews, the annual reviews, and I'd be just staring at them and I would have a blank look on my face, I guess. And they're like, well, what's your reaction to this? I'm like, I guess I'm okay with it. I don't care. I'm not a very, I guess maybe you'll see a lot of expressions in my face, but when I'm being lectured or told something, I'll just sit there and absorb the information. I don't need to make facial expressions to do that. Going off the deep end here, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that he was too stoic? Do you think that he got his points across? Do you think that he made excuses for the fact that he probably was the instigator, that he probably was to blame, that he probably was acting bad? Or do you think it's the other way around? Anyways, I'd appreciate your comments below. Like, hate, subscribe, unsubscribe, share. I love it all. Peace out.